one thing with our life because we're on multiple trajectories, whether this is self-care, relationship, work, creative expression, travel, etc. What is the one thing that you would do with your life if you could do just one? So boiling it down. The power of choice. This one is so huge for me. While we may not always have control over our options, we always have control over how we choose among them. That quote is probably one of the most important pearls that I will carry forward as a coach and teacher from this book, because our power does really live inside our choice-making capacity. The fact that we have choices is always true, even if we don't love the choices that we have. We can't choose it if we don't actually see it or perceive it. So for that reason, we have to explore, which is the second topic, second section of the book. We have to remove obstacles and hidden internal barriers in order to honestly, accurately explore among our choices. If we have blinders on, we can only see the choices the culture is giving us. So we actually need our power of creativity to expand our vision and go, oh, there are actually other choices. Roads less taken, roads less traveled, right? There are different options. Am I willing to experience something novel? When we fail to choose, as I said in the intro video, we basically abdicate our own power. Our very lives become a function, as in a mathematical function, of other people's choices or the momentum of the culture. Or we become a function of our past choices without actually using our power in the moment to be the who we most want to be. So this can lead us down a road of deep unfulfillment, dysthymia, which is like unhappy mood, akin to depression, but not fully clinically depression. Basically bad chronic mood state, and burnout. So that existential exhaustion, that sense of what I do doesn't matter, the sense of not feeling connected to people, the sort of cynicism and depersonalization of others. And it's not a fun place to be, I can tell you, having survived multiple cycles of it. So one of the steps in this process is discerning. Discerning what is the most valuable result that I could achieve in this area of my life, or in this job position, or in this organization. What is the most valuable result? And that asks us to kind of look at our vision. This reminds me quite a bit of our second module in 12 by 12, where we look at our values, visions, the verbs we want to do, and the vibes we want to create. We bring our own voice back in. So bring your own voice to discerning, what do you want to achieve in this job? And then see the relative unimportance of just about everything else. This is what he calls the trivial many. So you can actually say no thank you to the good in favor of the great, becoming clearer and clearer and more cutting about and decisive about what belongs inside and what belongs outside. Yes, there are trade-offs. So which problem do you want? You make it by design rather than default, and you will be more aligned with the trajectory you end up on at the end of the day. Consider if it requires an identity shift for you. If you are accustomed to not being in a managerial role, you're going to have to upgrade your own self-identity in order to successfully inhabit that role. There's some inner work to be done here. This is a place where working with a coach can be an amazing benefit, because we don't even realize how we limit ourselves in terms of our beliefs and identities oftentimes. He brings up the straddling strategy again. When you're trying to keep your existing strategy intact, maybe it's your identity as a part of the worker team, while simultaneously trying to adapt a new strategy or approach, which is your new leader role, your new executive role. You actually need to eschew or say no thank you to one in order to fully embody the other. Straddling is uncomfortable. It is difficult to do both. And while there are qualities that you will maintain, Greg McCune is teaching that straddling is a recipe for eventual failure. Do you have that one friend who's always trying to fit in one more thing? That they have a little bit of planning fallacy and optimism bias, like it's going to be shorter than I know it's going to be. It's going to take me only 15 minutes to drive from here to Hillsborough today instead of the usual 35. I think about myself, and I think about my good friend, whose name I won't mention, but she knows who she is. Always fitting in one more thing, always late. It's just like one of the things that she's known for. I'm not typically always late. That's a really important core for me that got drilled in by my dad, who was not military but might as well have been with the timeliness factor. Anyway, these folks are ignoring the reality of trade-offs. They are avoiding what seems like opportunity cost, but they still suffer the time limitation of the space-time continuum, right? We can't escape them. And so we use our values to decide, is it more important to squeeze this one thing and maintain the identity of always being the late one, or always being the rushed one, or being a little bit frazzled on the outside because we're trying to just cram more into our time? So Greg is asking us, ask what you want so that you can go all in on that instead of asking, what do I need to give up? So it's just a reframe of the same question. What am I saying yes to? Okay, that means I have to say no to this. It's like I'm saying yes to parenting in, early childhood. So I'm going to say no to a bunch of late nights at the comedy club or the bar or whatever. Like, it's a different time in life. It's a different season. And as long as you agree with your why, as long as you like your why, you're going to end up happier at the end of the day. So that is the essence of the essence section. See what I did there? I will see you next in the explore section.